Being able to, quote, finish and have, quote, scoring touch is the uncanny ability to score goals. Having good hands essentially means the same thing, but could also refer to the ability to catch passes in tight spaces, or otherwise have the uncanny ability to pick up the ball off the ground in unorthodox situations. Another aspect of finishing is having accuracy. Being able to pick a spot and deliver the ball there on cue is often the most distinguishing factor in having good hands or not. If the shot is preceded by a fake or two, it has even more likelihood of going in. Faking has to do with anticipation, or predicting what your opponent will do. Experienced players are good at anticipating, but are also vulnerable to fakes as a result. By comparison, fakes don't work as well on inexperienced players, since they don't know any better. There are many types of fakes used in lacrosse, including head fakes, eye fakes, body fakes, stick fakes, and shot fakes. Generally, as players' stick development improves, so does their ability to, quote, sell their fakes. By definition, a fake is the act of performing a movement without completion, deceptively, and thus fooling the opponent. Another attribute that all pure goal scorers possess is patience. A brief attempt to summarize what patience is would be not necessarily shooting or passing the ball to the first option, instead using as much time as possible, utilizing disguise and misdirection to mask one's true intentions, while ultimately getting the best shot possible. Speaking primarily to stick fakes, faking a goalie usually consists of quick quarter turns of the stick, aka snap fakes, as if a player is going to shoot high, low, left, right, or behind the back. The stick is most often held by a player's ear when faking, and it is a slight action of the top wrist/hand combined with complementary body movements that are used to sell the fake. Often, a simple dip of the shoulder, aka dropping the shoulder, or the stick, aka dropping the stick, can be enough to open up the top corners on goalies susceptible to dropping. Some folks say to fake away from the goalie's stick first, or in other words, finish stick side on the goalie, sometimes via 5-hole. Players should always be wary of protecting the ball while faking, otherwise they may expose themselves to a trail check when they think they are uncontested or otherwise open for only a split second. When a player has time and space, they should use a predetermined series of fakes, as they say, as they get in close to the net, creating the best chance for scoring a goal. The remedial version of a fake series would be to quickly fake short side and then shoot to the goalie's far side, short far, or vice versa, far short. The next move in this series of fakes is to fake short, fake far, and then shoot back to the short side. The shot should ideally be taking aim for the top corner or as a crippler to the 7-hole or lower. The stick also has eyes that the player can't see, but they have to trust when they hang their arms out there to shoot. The quote, eyes of the stick demonstration is a great way to hammer home this point.
You don't have to see the net with your eyes, you have to see it with the head of your stick. Right now, I don't see any net. Come stand right here. Do you see any net to score on? Okay? Now come behind my lacrosse stick head. Stay where you are. See any net there? Yeah, right? Right in the face. Sorry. Right in the net. Okay? So let's make sure that we get our hands extended when we're coming around and reach right around and try to put it in the far side of the net. Coming around the crease, I'm going this way, reaching around.
It becomes evident with this demonstration how the stick ultimately becomes an extension of a lacrosse player's body. Also how much more net the stick can see versus a player's eyes. Coaches can start with a demo on faking or otherwise jump right into variation number 1 where players work on their in-tight finish. In variation number 1A, players start lined up on their proper floor side crease position with balls already in their sticks and the drill alternating from one side to the other each rep. One player from each line should be positioned facing the net on a 45-degree angle from the near side post, before eventually stepping towards the far side of the goaltender, whether real or imaginary, trying to shoot it off the far post and into the net. In variation number 1B, players can also be given the chance to practice different series of fakes, first against the boards and later against the goalie from varying distances, starting in the perfect position.
show you like 2 fakes, okay? So everyone's got a ball. Everyone can do this. Show me. So when I'm coming in on a goalie, first thing, right, is I probably shoot it there. Okay? No fake. Okay? Second time, that's where this comes into play. Now she thinks I'm going there, fake there, and I go around. Okay? So that's number 2. Now, the third one's harder, but now you gotta watch the goalie. Okay? So, if I'm gonna do the exact same thing, she's playing goalie. Now I faked here, she takes a step. I've gone far side, so now she's gonna lean like this. Where is that gonna leave open on the net? Right here, okay? So, we call it a 3-banger. You can call it whatever you want. It's 3 because it's 3 moves, okay? The biggest thing is your legs in these moves. Every time you make a fake, if I do this, I step with this foot. Like that. Every single time. If I don't make a step with that foot, it doesn't work because it just looks like I'm trailing. Right? If I step, then the goalie thinks I'm shooting. But now I'm coming down, I'm going like this, I'm carrying, see how she took that step? Now I watch and I go backside. Okay? Using my legs, I'm going to take very big steps and I'm going to be exaggerated to make the goalie fight. So I'm going to go down. Go backside. Okay? So
watch his hands, watch his little shoulder movement, okay? It doesn't take much.
Right? Goalies can't move that area. It's hard, right? They have all that protection. They move their shoulders and they move across. It opens it up every time.
In variation number 2, there's a coach passer at either the crease positions, variation number 2A, or the shooter positions, variation number 2B, both fully loaded with balls. There should also be lines of players on their proper floor side at the shooter positions in variation number 2A, receiving a pass for what is known as an adjacent shot, or at the crease positions, finishing at the crease in variation number 2B. In both situations, players step into the prime scoring area in the triple threat position and get a pass from the coach, ultimately working on their ability in one or both of these scenarios. This drill can also be done with a coach and an individual player at the end of practice, thereby getting the luxury of extra reps. In variation number 2C, coaches can also command specific shot patterns or fake series, depending on the caliber of players. Variation number 3 is the player-passer equivalent of variation number 2. In variation number 3A, the adjacent shot, the same side shooter should be standing perpendicular to the net, taking a crow hop towards the net as the pass is arriving, loading up to shoot, with as quick of a catch and shoot as possible. In variation number 3B, another variation of this setup would be to start balls at the shooter position, with this player being a threat and then dumping the pass down to the crease player who finishes with a shot in tight. Probably the most popular version of this drill is variation number 4, the inside and outside shot, which is the same as the previous variations, except one side passes shooter to crease and the other side passes crease to shooter, making the drill more challenging for the goalies. All players have balls except for the first 2 players on opposite sides to start the drill. After the player takes a turn making a pass, the other side takes their turn, and then the passer becomes the receiver of the pass. Continue in this manner, switching from one side to the other in terms of where the shot is coming from, also with high shots versus low shots. Variation number 5, mixing release points, can also be used in any of the previous variations, whereby coaches instruct players to take a certain type of shot, whether sidearm, underhand, overhand, cripplers, or bounce shots. In variation number 6, screenshots, 2 quote dummy defenders are added, acting as screens at the crease and shooter positions, with the dummies also moving with the shooters, which helps players get a feel for a more game-like situation. The dummy defender could be a volunteer or appointed by the coach. Otherwise, after shooting, the shooter becomes the dummy. Dummy defenders should also be encouraged to practice corralling rebounds off the goalie and shooting them if it's there before switching lines. In variation number 7, players get the chance to practice, quote, crease dives, which can be executed with the same orientation as variations number 1 to 3 of this drill, and are a player favorite. Coaches can bring out an old mattress or a blow-up mattress or even a high jump mat if they have access to dive onto. Another complementary item for coaches to have in this scenario would be a checking pad, which adds the physical contact element of this skill.
The goal is of the crease dive is to just beat them to that post, right? Is to extend your body.
As you guys come across, the goalie's going to try to beat you across. You got to beat him.
Goalie, this is where you make your sexy saves. The TSN, these ones. So we want to stay honest on our post, come across, stick up. You know what I'm saying?
Variation number 8 is the classic game to 7, adding competition. Play a game of lefties versus righties up to 7 goals, with the losing team doing push-ups, sit-ups, planks, bodyweight squats, sprints, etc. Furthermore, coaches can make it so 2 goals can be tallied on bounce shots if they feel like that particular skill is worthy of emphasis. Variation number 9 is the no drops, no misses game, where for every ball that is dropped and/or misses the net during the drill, players have to sprint from one sideboard or end board to the other. For every goal that is scored, 1 sprint is removed from the total, with goalies having to run if players keep their sprint total at or below 0.